Mr. Bertheau, first of all, thank you for your time today. 50 years, 50 cheers. Congratulations on this wonderful 50 years of having such wonderful wine. You are in charge of the wine growing for Ste Michelle, and you are in Washington, where it supposedly rains 300 days a year, but it doesn't?
Not that side of Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone thinks about Washington State, and all the stereotypes go to the west side, where Seattle is, and the Space Needle, and Microsoft, and Starbucks, and all those kind of axioms of Washington State are on that side. There's this mountain range in the middle called the Cascades, and what happens is the Cascades block all that moisture, and by the time you get to the east side of the state, it's actually more of a high desert. We only get maybe 15 centimeters of rain a year on that side of the mountain. So you think Seattle, but you got to think more Arizona or high country desert than you do that side of the mountains when we're actually growing the grapes on the east side.
So what does a temperature of 95 during the summer and then it goes down to really cold temperatures in the evenings due to the wine and to the grapes?
Yeah, it makes our climate very unique in that regard. The 95 degrees in July and August really gets pure, warm temperatures and gets really good ripeness for varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon. But in October, it turns around. It gets very cold and the nights get very long because we're so far north. And that allows us for wonderful hang time for softening of the reds. But just as importantly, from one of my favorite varieties for Riesling, it allows for acid retention because it gets cold in October. And that's the main ripening month of Riesling. And that's why we can do this amazing Cabernet from Coal Creek, but also this slaty, limey Eroica Riesling with Ernst-Losen. That's the magic of our climate.
What would you say, where is the trend headed? What are people looking for when they're drinking a good red wine or a nice white wine?
I think the trends 8 to 10 years ago were more toward like Pinot Noir. That whole movie Sideways turned everything around. Okay. Right now, some of the trends are red blends. I think are very, very popular, and we have quite a few. It's really fun as a winemaker to make a red blend because my hands are off in terms of varietal. I can put kind of together whatever I want in terms of varietal. So that's actually been a fun trend. Chardonnay, a little less oak, a little less butter, a little more acidity and structure, I think is somewhat of a trend as well. And again, we can make that style. Chardonnay is the most malleable varietal. I can do whatever I want with it. It's like a big hunk of clay ready to sculpt. I can make it bigger and buttery and oaky, or I can make it lean and fresh and lemony, limey, depending upon what I do with the fruit.
And why is the ProWein so important?
The ProWein is important because we want to get our wines to the world. We think it's extremely critical to have an international presence, that your brand is out in different countries, because the economy, wine, everything is all international. Nothing is sequestered in one country anymore. So we think it's super important to get the wines all over the world. And we're in 70 different countries, so we are certainly all over the world.
Well, thank you so much for this lovely conversation. Have a great time in Düsseldorf, and I hope to see you next year. Thanks so much.
Will. Lots of bratwurst in my future.
Exactly.
All right.